Now, in my view, the good news is that in America, we have made some really significant gains over the last number of decades in making America a less discriminatory society. We should be proud that we have overcome a huge and long legacy of racism and elected an African American as a president of the United States. We should be proud that we have seen a huge increase in women's rights in this country, in gay rights in this country, and in the rights of many, many other minorities. But I know that all of you understand that we still have a long, long way to go. From Ferguson to Baltimore and across this nation, too many African Americans and other minorities find themselves subjected to a system that treats citizens who have not committed crimes as if they were criminals. And that has got to end. We do not want to see as a nation Now, ironically, the good news is that we are hearing about an issue that we did not really see publicly for many years. So if anybody thinks that police shooting innocent people or beating up people who were arrested is a new development, you're wrong. This has been going on for a long, long time. The good news now is that this issue is out in the public, that people are talking about real police and criminal justice reform. I was a mayor for 8 years in Burlington, Vermont. And let me tell you, we work very closely with the police department and our police officers. Being a police officer today is a very difficult and stressful job. Vast majority of police officers trying hard to do the right thing. But when a police officer does something illegal, like any other person, that police officer must be indicted and must be prosecuted. Let me conclude, and I'm going to open up to your questions and comments by saying this. I am feeling we had a great weekend here. We've done 7 meetings in the last 2 days, and I think we've probably spoken to over 2,000 people. And the turnouts have been great. We did a meeting the other day in Nashua with 500 people. We were in Durham earlier this afternoon. I don't know, 500-600 people were coming out. This is a great turnout. And I think that we stand a very, very good chance, not only of winning here in New Hampshire, we're doing well in Iowa, and I think we can win all over this country. The way we're going to win this is not by outspending our opponents. We're raising a reasonable sum of money, and I'm proud of that. And the way we raise money is not like other candidates do. Other candidates have what's called super PACs. You know what super PACs are? Super PACs are when 20 people come together in a room and the candidate leaves with millions of dollars because there's no limit to what wealthy people can spend. In fact, Jeb Bush was embarrassed a month or so ago, and he implored his supporters not to put more than $1 million each into his campaign. So let me reiterate this. I don't want anybody in this room to put more than $1 million into it. Just kidding. In fact, we are the only campaign out there, to the best of my knowledge, that does not have a super PAC. But here's what excites me. If you go to BernieSanders.com, what you learn, that's our campaign website, is that we have many hundreds of thousands of people in 50 states in this country who have pledged to be active in this campaign. We have some 200,000 Americans who have made campaign contributions. And you know what their contributions average? Not $1 million bucks, not $10,000. They average something like $37 a person. $37. I'm proud of it. way we're going to win is by putting together a grassroots campaign with your help here in New Hampshire, with our friends in Iowa, and all over this country. And when we do that, and when we win this election, what I want to also tell you is that I will need your help the day after the election as well. If you think I'm going to leave you alone and say thank you, not enough, because there is no way. Our job is not just electing me. Our job is to transform America. And there is no way that we do that without a strong grassroots movement. So the bad news is we have got your names. They're going to go into our computer file, and we're going to be hounding you for years. But essentially, what this is about is revitalizing American democracy, is making it very clear that our government has got to work for all of us and not just wealthy campaign contributors. So let me thank you all very, very much for coming out this afternoon. Love to take any questions or comments you may have. Thank you very much. Phil, you're going to be here, and who's Letty?
One mic.
Oh, just one mic? Okay.
Everybody, let me just make a comment before we get to the question and answer. My name is Phil Fremont. I've been with Bernie for a number of years, and I'm on the campaign trail with him. What a great turnout. Thanks, everybody, for coming out. A lot of the people out there. It's really nice to see. Just really quickly, I'll make this quick, but we are going to need your help. As Bernie said, we don't have the support of the billionaires. This is going to be a people-powered campaign. So a couple ways you can get involved, and we need you to do this. BernieSanders.com. If you haven't gone there and signed up to volunteer, please go to the webpage. A lot of good information there, some ideas and tools that you can use to organize in your communities, and please sign up there. You can also make a contribution there. We have contribution envelopes as you leave. Grab one of those. If you didn't sign in when you came in, please sign in before you leave so that we can stay in touch with you. For those of you who have cell phones, please just bring it out right now and just text a message. And the message is Bernie. Just put Bernie in the text. And you want to send that to this number. And that number is 82623. Get your cell phone out. Just go 82623. And you say, well, what's that going to do? That'll keep you in touch with the campaign. We'll be able to send you text the next time Bernie is going to be in your area, breaking news in the campaign, that sort of thing. A real easy way to stay involved. So that's it. We'll get to the questions. Raise your hand, and Levy here will come up to you.
Bernie, oh my gosh, this is wild. I'll ask a question if I can catch my breath. I have epilepsy, and I haven't heard a lot about the BRAIN Initiative.
About what?
The BRAIN Initiative, and I am wondering if you would have time, if you're elected, to kind of give it a little push.
Yes, the answer is yes. Give you an example. Thanks very much for that comment. One of the things that makes me very, very sad is not only are our Republican colleagues not investing in infrastructure or education, but they're cutting back funding for the National Institute of Health and some of the best research organizations in the world. I mean, we have great scientists, but a lot of our scientists, or at least some of them, are leaving our own government because they're not getting the grants that they need to conduct the research that they need. So there are huge issues out there. There are potential breakthroughs in brain research, in Alzheimer's, in diabetes, in cancer, of course, and we have got to invest in that scientific research. So thank you very much for that question. Okay, then what we can do, Phil, maybe while Levy is over, all right, yeah, ma'am.
Bernie, thank you so much for running our country. It really needs you. As a mom of a 2-year-old and a 4-month-old, I appreciated your family values section. And I just have 2 more that I hope that you'll add as we continue going on. One is affordable childcare. After that 12-week period, it's really hard to find a place to send an infant, let alone pay for it. I ended up stopping working because I would be spending my whole salary on childcare.
Especially with 2 kids, right?
Yes, that's what did it. The second is a foreign policy that focuses more on diplomacy than on war, and that's a family value in the sense that during National Guard building, we've already had 2 deployments, and despite things wrapping up in Iraq and Afghanistan, National Guard troops, as well as other troops, continue to get deployed, and in addition to the costs to our country, it has a really strong impact on our families. So I would recommend that you add those, and again, thank you for running.
Thank you very much. We have been in this race, if my memory is correct, we announced about 2 months ago, so it's been a reasonably short period of time. We, in a sense, playing catch-up ball because the support is growing faster than our infrastructure. Believe it or not, 1 week ago, we had 1 paid employee in New Hampshire.
Wow.
Okay, so we're growing that, and we're also growing, working on policy statements that we'll be making. But let me deal with the issue that you raised. When I was mayor of Burlington, I tried to find and fight for universal child care within Burlington. We in fact started an excellent child care center, which is still in existence today. Everybody should know that the most important years of a human being's life are 0 to 4. And the idea that we have working class families all over America who cannot find high quality, affordable childcare is clearly a national disgrace. So I believe, and you'll hear more about this, in universal pre-K. I want you to be able, look, God didn't create education in kindergarten. And today you have the majority of women are going out into the workforce. This is not the 1950s when mom stayed home and dad went to work. This world has changed. You are entitled to know that your kid is in excellent hands. And by the way, we have child care workers in this country who are making less than McDonald's workers. And that has got to, we have to appreciate the importance of their work. They got to be paid and they got to be trained. So thank you for raising that issue. It is an enormously important issue and you hear more from it. In terms of the issue of the National Guard, I have worked very closely, obviously, with the Vermont National Guard. And in my small state, we have paid a very, very, very heavy price for the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan. And I have gone to many more funerals than I ever have wanted to go to. I was the chairman of the Senate Veterans Committee for 2 years. And I did not get everything that I wanted. But let me tell you all this when we talk about war and all these people who are so quick to want to go to war. Let me tell you that one of the votes that I am perhaps most proud of is when Bush and Cheney and Don Rumsfeld were telling us how we had to go to war in Iraq. This congressman did not believe that. This senator is going to do everything that he can, and this president do everything that I can to absolutely make certain that while we are in a difficult and dangerous world, that we are not perpetually fighting a war in the Middle East. That I do not want to see happen. So in terms of the deployments, when we talk about the cost of war, please understand that it's not just that we lost 6,700 brave men and women in Iraq and Afghanistan. We have some 500,000 who have come home with PTSD or traumatic brain injury. And we have clearly a moral responsibility to A, make sure that they get all of the benefits that they deserve, that those people who are taking care of them, often their wives, get benefits that they